So, hi everyone. Thank you very much for joining this session, and happy to see so many familiar faces. I'm Karpilovski. I'm the CEO and founder of InsidePacket. Together with me today is Ted Wagner from Zayo, and we're here to present you a little bit about the journey that we both had in the last year or so, transforming Zayo network into a 400 market NaaS, or I would say NaaS on steroids, across North America. Before starting with that, I would just kind of give you a quick introduction into InsidePacket and what's our purpose in life, what we're trying to do. So, in a very high level, what we are trying to accomplish in the last few years of existence is to provide operators with a way to monetize their network. At the end of the day, it's taking their one service per port and make it multiple services per port. We've developed a technology that runs on any network, and what I mean when I say any, I mean any underlay network, any operator. It could be a tier 2, a tier 3, and of course operators that are worldwide or nationwide, like in the case of Zayo. We've developed a technology that runs on commodity hardware, so within very short period of time, you buy hardware, you install it in several locations of your network, you enable and operate an overlay network to your enterprise customers, and all of a sudden, they are now capable of leveraging the very robust network of yours as an operator to support this, I would say, standard these days NaaS capabilities, such as data center to data center, data center to cloud, cloud to cloud, DIA, and even remote workers. But what comes on top of it is really exciting, is the additional features that are enabled by default in line rate, in every location, in every site that the operator has, and it's elements and services like observability of the network, observability of the applications, and the observability of security. And last but not least, we also enable the operator to offer for every connection, for every port across his network at any scale, in line rate, point and click, the ability to basically secure any of his new connections. Secure from the perspective of firewall as a service, web filtering, DDoS, and more sophisticated services like SASE. So with that in mind, as we kind of developed this for operators, the ultimate goal was to create the notion of self-managed for the enterprise. And really the main reason is how the operator can leverage as much as he can the portal and the network that is now available for his partners, for his customers, and to basically come up with a self-managed AI base that gives his enterprise customers the ability to better connect, faster connect, and better protect, and better support his enterprise customers. So after Ted will talk about the use case from his perspective, we will run a really quick demo of the portal. Thank you.
Thanks, Eli. Yep, so I'm in the product management organization with Zayo, helping to roll out this NaaS capability, DynamicLink. And DynamicLink really comes from us talking to our customers about what they want to do, how they want to consume, and that's where we see NaaS as really that consumption model, right? And so just briefly about Zayo, right? We own the infrastructure down to the fiber in the ground. We provide data services, transport services, dark fiber services across North America. And we have customers that are using all of these services, the layer 2, layer 3 services, public-private networking. They're already available and they're on that network, but they were asking us for a better way to consume these services. And so there's really kind of 3 key areas that I just want to touch on that we're responding to, that our customers are asking for, and I'm sure you're hearing some of the same things in your customer bases if you're in the operator space. So the first thing is they want to have a complete set of WAN capabilities and services, right? So it's very important for them to have layer 2 services, layer 3 services, internet access services, multi-point, point-to-point. They're looking at all these capabilities and they're saying, I can do this today, and you have traditional products for that, but I want to be able to consume that on demand. And so that's where that network as a service really comes through. And we really felt it important for us to not parcel products and features out to our customers, but to give them a full range as quickly as possible, if not on day one in an MVP product. And so that's what we are really driven to do and deliver to our customers. And what we're seeing is our customers kind of have 3 waves of engaging with the product. The first wave is really, I can create these services on my own, right? So that's kind of self-evident, and we already know a lot of that from a NaaS perspective. The second wave is kind of they weren't maybe expecting, and that's, I'm saving a lot of time. So now if I have a small team of network engineers and architects, or I'm trying to take on a lot of things, it turns out that real-time capabilities of these features frees me up to do a lot more for my team. And then that kind of leads to the third wave, which we're really having fun talking with customers about, is they start thinking, oh wait, I can completely rethink how I do things, how my applications work, how I'm consuming workloads and clouds and capabilities, and how I'm programming the network in real time to respond to my creativity now rather than restraints of networking. So the rich set of features and capabilities was just a baseline thing that we really needed to do with our product. The second thing is those capabilities had to be available everywhere. So we wanted to make sure it wasn't limited to some subset of locations or cities or types of endpoints. We wanted to make sure it was available across the entire network because that's where our customers live and that's where they work and that's where their workloads are and their people. And so for us, being able to deploy the product with a real set of capabilities across the footprint where customers reside and work was super important for us. And then finally, because we own that infrastructure, and we're very proud of that infrastructure, we want to make sure we fully leverage that infrastructure, both for the scale that we need today, the scale that we're going to need tomorrow, and well into the future. And so that was kind of really driving our force and our capabilities and how we really went forward with the DynamicLink product that we recently announced.
Thank you, Ted. So with that, I think we're going to do a quick demo. Yeah, so basically I could start while what the team here is helping me with setting this on the screens. But at a very high level, what you're going to see today is a demo of the portal. Now, we have 3 portals that we offer the operator. The first one is the enterprise portal. That portal is basically the portal that your customers will use. So this is the portal where your customers will be used to self-manage their entire life cycle of creating new connection, managing their port, public IPs, clouds, adding security, adding observability tools, et cetera, et cetera. The next portal is the portal of the admin, basically how you manage your day-to-day operation of your network as Zayo, as an operator that needs now to manage multiple tenants, multiple IPAM clouds, packages, et cetera. The mid portal is somewhere that lives in between the admin and the enterprise, and that's basically the portal that enable you as the operator to basically provide your channels, VARs, and distributors to start selling directly and independently some portion of your network through their own portal and manage, like NOC and SOC manage their own customers. So because we don't have much time, and because you probably saw a lot of UIs in your life that seems more or less the same, what I will try to do here is a little bit of a different thing. So I'm going to use the InsideIQ, which is the AI portion of our solution, to basically not train you or teach you on how to create a connection or do all these things, but just basically ask him to do that. So what you see is a typical screen of inventory where you can basically manage or order ports, manage the connections on each port, manage your cloud connections, either AWS, GCP, Oracle, whatever it is, buy or leverage other public IPs that you have in your network. And then there's the My Services, which I think is the most kind of interesting on top of everything else, because this is the screen where you basically get the ability to, on every link, on every connection that you have, to add a service. Either it's on the Insight view, DDoS, web filtering, and stateful firewall, networking like Cloud Router, or even NAT, where you want to add to the Cloud Router a connection to the internet or things like that, or the InsideIQ portion, which is the service of InsideIQ, and the MCP server, which enable you to literally, as an IT manager, go outside your NaaS portal into your own enterprise environment, and through that environment and through that MCP server, communicate with other portions of your enterprise operation, and basically customize and optimize that within your day-to-day operation. So those are the things that you typically see. On the right hand, what you see is things like the layer 2 connections, sometimes even an E-line connection, etc. And of course, a cloud router, which gives you the ability to add a new connection to customer port cloud connection, or even WAN connection. So we're going to use what we see on the right hand, which is called Analyze with InsideIQ. And this is going to be the starting point of this. Is basically saying, hey, can you help me understand what's going on my network? How many ports I have? How many connections I have? What is the utilization that I have on each connection? How do I use that? Do I use it correctly, etc.? So it's going to set us with some information. And I'm going to put it in the big screen. Just make it a bit bigger. Put it in a table. And then I could start dealing with that in any way I want. I could ask it to basically start searching for each connection and understand what are the top applications that they run on top, et cetera, et cetera. Tons of stuff. There's obviously there's a lot to show and present. So if you have questions, definitely stop by at our booth or call us, and we're more than happy to help to set a meeting with you. The next kind of I would say, interesting part of the portal is the insight. So above and beyond standard tools, statistics, and other data, including looking glass, full looking glass that is embedded within the portal, you also get insight, an insight of the network, insight of the application, and insight of security. So for example, if I go to the network observability and just kind of showing you some standard stuff like latency, I'm showing typically this specific, I would say, page is because this is a page where we see a lot of interest from operators, because this is the page where you basically monitor all of your connections within the network. Again, sorry if slow connection here on the internet, but at the end of the day, it is showing any connection at the level of the network latency and at the level of the application latency. And the one thing that we kind of embedded into this demo today, and this is a kind of a sandbox of the portal, is that you could see that the application latency is about 5 seconds, while the network latency is about 50 microseconds. So you could always do a filter, and you could sort it from here and start kind of debugging it manually. Good luck with that. Takes time, and you need to understand like exactly what you look for. The other option is click the easy button, which is the Analyze with InsideIQ. That will basically start searching for anomalies within your network. And with that, it will very quickly go through the list of all the data that in this case, 24 hours, and basically tell you any network observability data for the last 24 hours. We'd like to try a different time range. Let's do 30 minutes. And put it in here. And I'll ask it to put it in the table. And then start to sort it by the network latency, the application latency, and even put it into tell me what's the utilization that you have there, et cetera, et cetera. It takes time. It needs to sort through many things, but it will eventually get there. So we have things like network latency, and we'll give it another minute because we almost out of time, and we need to go through a lot of stuff still. So I'm gonna count to 5. If we can't sort it out by then we're going to move on to the next thing that you want to see. The next one is application observability. So here what we're going to do is we're going to look at data that comes, again, from your every connection, every port, showing you basically the application that's running on your enterprise network per location, per source IP, per connection. You could source this in any way you want. It gives you top application, top talkers, etc. Similarly, there's a DNS observability capability built in. So here we've created a script that enables you to quickly see that there is a raw DNS server that periodically kind of connects to a server behind the data center port. and pull data into a malicious website. So we're gonna use that to ask him to find these anomalies. He's sending this data like every 30 minutes, sorry. So we're gonna use that for that event. You could see names like attack.xyz. Obviously, that's not a good name for a website, which means there's something fishy on this website. So I'm just gonna go here and ask, analyze my DNS in the last 24 hours. Now again, don't worry about my English. He will understand me. Maybe it will take some tweaks for him to better understand me, but eventually we'll get it. He will start searching. He will find the anomaly. And the interesting part of this is because you have an integrated firewall rule into the system, he will say, okay, so we found this breach. There's a malicious or a raw DNS that is connected to your data center. Should we block this connection? And he will say, yes, of course. And then for that, he will create you could see he found this attack.xyz kind of anomaly through the specific IP. And if I scroll all the way down, he would say, would you like me to create a firewall rule? I would say yes. And then he will create a firewall rule. Now, on the slider of I don't trust AI to do whatever you need in order to protect my network, right now, as a NaaS portal, we're very much on the I don't trust you. So everything that we do through this, it will ask you for a rule name. So I would say, pick a name, pick priority, or priority 100, drop. And he will create the firewall rule. He will then specifically put a button saying, are you approving this firewall rule set? We'll say yes. And then you will see that it applies on the firewall sets and immediately, let's call it TCP. And then it will block all traffic from this malicious, from this raw DNS that is basically jeopardizing our network. Similarly, like what we're going to show here, obviously, you could take the exact same concept and apply it on create new connection or update the bandwidth, yes, or delete a rule or add DIA or you name it, or tell me or create a route table or find this bug or this route or any question you have in mind. This is now the tool that really saves, I would say, something between 75 to 85% of the typical question you will find. So I'm going to say, yes, I approve this, go build this firewall rule, and in a second we'll go to the firewall rules and see that is being applied there. The name was block the specific XYZ features. So firewall block attack XYZ. So just yet another example of the very powerful tool here. Obviously, if we had more time, I could show you a lot more stuff that we could do through the MCP server, from basic knowledge base that you could query information, go through other sites and knowledge bases, to getting it to Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and other tools that enable you to customize your specific, I would say, requirement. Here, I would say, for example, here's a Claude desktop application. What you see here is basically that he can now talk through an MCP server. So if I click on this, you will find DynamicLink. And I'm just going to skip time. Because of time, I'm just going to show you something that he created on the fly. So I'm going to, and you could optimize this as you go. For example, in this case, we showed him how, like I asked him, build me a DIA dashboard that has these specific details. So he automatically created. It's in real time. It's up to date. You could add different features to it. You could modify it as you go. Tons of stuff here. I'm not going to go through all of this, but happy to schedule a session with anyone here to deep dive into the details. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the patience as we go through this demo. What I do believe is that this is definitely paving the way for every operator on Earth to have a sophisticated NaaS platform that he can then take to his enterprise customers and better connect, protect, and support them. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.